Hey, what's up? This is Joe. This video is going to take you on a freezing journey from Virginia to Florida, getting caught in inclement weather, and finding free outlaw camping spots as I prepare to work Bike Week 2025. All right, today's leaving day. It's Wednesday. Temperature's right around 29 degrees. Basically heading south out of here on 81 and then picking up 77. And after that, I should pretty much be south of the Appalachian Mountains and hopefully into some better weather. So they're calling for a lot of rain in the south tomorrow. So wish me luck. As cold as it was, my number one objective was to get out of the mountains and as far south as possible. By the time I got to Mount Airy, I was frozen solid. I stopped at a gas station to get some coffee and take a leak. All right, made it to Mount Airy. That was probably the coldest and most miserable section of this journey to Florida, I hope. It's supposed to be absolutely pouring rain sometime tomorrow, midday kind of thing. I don't think I'll be able to find a route around all the rain and stuff, but we'll just have to play it by ear and figure something out. It's about 12 p.m. now. The weather has gotten up to 44 degrees, supposedly. It doesn't feel like it. Pretty well chilled after riding through Fancy Gap, but hopefully make it as far as like Columbia, South Carolina, maybe even a little further. Just have to see how it goes. For the next couple hours, I continued riding due south until I reached the South Carolina state line. All right, just made South Carolina. It's still a little chilly, but not nearly as bad as it was. It's now 2 p.m. I'm just gonna keep heading south for as long as I can. Hopefully make it through Columbia, South Carolina. Once I'd made it through Columbia, I pulled off the interstate and began looking for a stealth camping spot I'd located the year before. This is a place I stayed at last year. It's completely overgrown, obviously, from how it was last year. Totally different than how I remembered it. Got everything set up just in the nick of time, man. Sun was just going down when I pulled in. I had to hike around and figure out a way to get back in here. But now just sitting here eating up some of this steak that I cooked up earlier. Afterwards, I'm gonna hang this from a tree further in there. about 4 o'clock last night, an owl started hooting like pretty much directly over my tent. It was extremely loud and not really a fun way to wake up. Okay, so the dilemma is, if I head south today, I'm heading right into a bunch of rain and thunderstorms, and the temperatures later on are supposed to get down to freezing. So I got a couple of options. I could find a store and get a rain suit and try to ride through it as far as Florida, which is about, Jacksonville is about 3.5 hours away. I got a good spot in St. Augustine, 4 hours of riding in the rain, and then potentially facing some near freezing temperatures after that. Or I could just kind of hunker down in this spot for the rest of the day, because it's not supposed to rain that much here. We're gonna get like a half an inch or something like that. So I think ultimately what I'm gonna do is just kind of hunker down here and try to set up my tarp over top of the tent, keep everything dry, just because the temperatures are getting down so low. I really don't want to be cold and wet at the same time. That's never fun. The main thing was, at this point, I had gotten out of the mountains. After the next couple of days, the weather should be looking pretty decent, at least down in Florida and stuff like that. So where I'm at right now, there's actually a truck stop not far away. I've still got plenty of food. So another decision is, do I take my bike or do I just walk? If I take the bike, I at least get it started, get it warmed up a little bit, but there's the chance that people are gonna see me coming in and out of here. I wanna be as much under the radar as possible. This is privately owned property for sale, but it's, from what I can tell, the for sale sign is down next to the front of the road. It looks like it's been for sale for a long time. So I doubt anybody's gonna come back here, particularly if it's raining. And it looked like the path into this particular place hasn't been used much. So we'll see how it goes. So this is gonna be my little semi-waterproof stealth camp for the night. Just gonna kind of keep a low profile for the rest of the day. It's supposed to start raining here around 12 p.m. So in the meantime, the truck stop's about a half a mile over that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and hike over there, see if I can get a little bit of a charge on my phone and my laptop. Don't really have a lot of time to play around, leaving most of my stuff out here like this, especially my motorcycle, you know? Well, obviously I did the exact opposite of what I said I was gonna do, and ended up taking my motorcycle anyway, just simply because it's faster. I got a lot of stuff that I need on here. Obviously I want to have my motorcycle nearby. Run a little bit of a risk of being seen going in and out of there, but it's a pretty quiet road. So anyway, been in the truck stop for the last couple of hours, just kind of charging up my devices. I really hate being stuck in the woods. I mean, it happens pretty frequently throughout the year. I get bad cabin fever, especially having done it for extended periods of time. I think the longest I stayed in the woods alone was like 6 weeks during the pandemic, and it was like pretty brutal, man. It's not something I like to do at all, even though I'm a pretty naturally introverted person. I just don't like being stuck anywhere. So looks like it's about to start raining pretty soon, so I'm gonna go ahead and hightail it back to the camp. So now you see why I carry that motorcycle cover. It's not raining too much. I'm just kind of sitting in here hunkered down and trying to stay warm. The temperature's around 40 degrees. I've got my my down blanket, which is kind of what I call my heater blanket, because it's very warm and also very lightweight. In addition to that, I got my supposedly 30-degree mummy bag. It's not 30 degrees. You can't comfortably stay in anything cooler than 40 degrees, or you're going to be freezing your toes off. Air pad actually did spring a leak, maybe from being in sub-freezing temperatures for a while and then being unrolled. So I beefed up the side of that around that valve stem earlier this morning with some seam grip. Hopefully that solves the problem. Otherwise, it's just going to suck. Raining a little more substantially now. I was basically just hunkered down, trying to stay warm, kind of wondering when the rain was going to start. It's definitely not crazy, but I wouldn't want to be riding in it. I can be cold, I can be wet, but I can't be cold and wet, especially when the temperature is supposed to drop below freezing. You know what I mean? It's not really a good idea for anybody, especially me. Yeah, just been sitting here working on my laptop, using up my battery at a faster pace than normal because the batteries are cold. Typically what I'll do with my phone in times like this, I'll stick the phone in the sleeping bag, like at the bottom where it's kind of out of my way. And that just kind of keeps it kind of nice and warm, keeps the battery from discharging. But I'm gonna have to plug it in to my bike, which I'm gonna go ahead and do now before the temperature drops below freezing, because having more of a load on your battery than normal is not really a good idea in like sub-freezing temperatures. So hotels are out. Obviously, that's a luxury I reserve only when I'm overseas. For the price of a hotel room here, it's like it would buy me a week in Indonesia or somewhere like that. So it's really kind of hard to swallow the cost of living, of restaurants and hotels. So I'm switching gears back to my normal vagabond, broke ass life. All right, it's about 8 p.m. now. Been kind of a boring day. The temperature's expected to drop to like 33 degrees. I doubt I'm really gonna be taken out of here super early. It's just a matter of getting my ass out of bed and into the cold, wet, damp that I have to look forward to for most of the day tomorrow. Hopefully make it down to St. Augustine, but I've said that before, so we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, I'm gonna sit here and read my book. Good night. My repair that I did on this air pad was completely ineffective. I can't figure out where the leak is. Typically you reach a certain point with these where they just can't be fixed. So I'm gonna look for a camping supply store on the way as I begin to head south, and hopefully pick up another one. From my spot outside of Orangeburg, I got back on the interstate, stopped in Savannah, Georgia to look for a sleeping pad, then stayed on back roads for the remainder of the day. Well, in spite of the fact that this is a pretty cool store, I don't see the type of sleeping pad that I bought here a few years ago, which was like 40 bucks. Instead, they have this like $80 type of a deal made by the same brand, Ascend. It's made out of a really soft material on the outside, which is super comfortable, but I know from experience, this stuff's gonna leak. It's gonna get punctured pretty quickly. The last one of these I had, I got like thousands of little pin-sized holes in this stuff, so it's too sensitive for my use. So, and that's like the cheapest one I see is like 80 bucks. So there's a Target nearby. I'm gonna just check over there. Otherwise, I'm sleeping on the ground.
I know what a question was. I'm gonna start my day off.
All right, well, Target was a complete washout, man. They don't have anything even remotely related to camping. Looks like I'm sleeping on the ground. By the time I'd left Savannah, an icy wind had kicked up, and after 15 minutes of riding at highway speeds, I was once again chilled to the bone. I then made the executive decision to get off the highway and began meandering my way to a $10 a night campground in Folkston, Georgia. All right, I'm off the highway. It's absolutely ridiculously windy out here. Even though the temperature's not that bad technically, I mean, it's like 43 degrees. Just because of this icy wind, no matter how bundled up you are, it's just these icy tendrils just have a way of finding the soft, sensitive parts in no time flat. So it was absolutely freezing cold on the interstate. If I stay in Georgia tonight, the temperature is supposed to get below freezing. So apparently there's like a really cool campground for only 10 bucks. I'm probably gonna head that way and check it out, honestly.
Okay. Sign right there, boss. Lisa.
Yes, sir. Kind of windy today.
It's going to be about 27 tonight. I hope you have
That's what I heard, yeah. No, I got plenty of stuff.
Okay.
Warm sleeping bags and everything, so
Well,
yeah, it should be fine.
anything, we live right here.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
It's gonna get cold tonight. Stay
I
warm.
know it, yeah. All right, man, well, this place is all right. I mean, for 10 bucks a night, it's got showers over there, bathrooms, presumably maybe even electricity in this pavilion, which will be great because I pretty much ran my laptop more or less all the way down. So yeah, I got these crazy looking pin oaks out here. Just a beautiful place. They were warning me because they've been getting a bunch of ice this year about looking up for dead branches and stuff like that, but this looks all right to me. I'm gonna first kind of figure out what way the wind's coming from, because she said it's supposed to get down to 27 tonight, so if I can, I might try to be on the other side of a big tree trunk like this, where I'm not getting hit with a nasty old icy breeze. All right, dinner tonight. I got a roasted chicken from the deli, a little bit of Frank's Red Hot creamy buffalo sauce. That's about it, nothing fancy here. So this is gonna be a little bit of Joe's hot sauce review. Creamy, tangy, got some vinegar in there, not very spicy. A lot of ingredients, honestly. You got cornstarch, a bunch of other nasty stuff, xanthan gum, which I really don't like seeing in such a small quantity. I doubt it's going to really be like poisonous. you know, at least outright. But, you know, it's pretty good. Those little plastic squeeze bottles are the easiest thing to carry around. I'm always looking to shed weight, so if I can get one of those, it just makes the whole thing way easier. The chicken's pretty good. I got this from just a little rinky-dink grocery store. It actually tastes better than some of the big chain chickens that I've had. It's a little bit dry on the outside. That might be as a result of it being nearly freezing out here. That it went from being warm to being really cold all at once. The juice at the bottom is already starting to solidify. The sun's going down. I got my camp over there, and at about 7 a.m. It's pretty damn cold, but honestly, it's really not that bad, especially with this this lightweight down blanket. Just makes all the difference in the world. None of that heat really escapes. Like, my feet are nice and toasty right now, even though it's below freezing. I don't remember how much I paid for it. It wasn't much, 10 or 20 bucks. And it might not even be real down. I don't know what it is, but let me take a look. Okay, this is not down at all. It's actually just polyester, but you would never know putting this thing on. Since I've just been sitting here moving around and stuff and showing you this, I've started to get kind of cold. So right now, inside of my sleeping bag, I've got the battery bank that I'm using to charge my phone, and my laptop is under my legs, just trying to warm up because I can't get a charge on it if it gets too cold. So I'm trying to warm it up a little bit so I can head over to that pavilion and get a little bit of a charge on it. So the sleeping pad went flat, obviously, a couple of times during the night. I had to blow it back up, but surprisingly, even though it was flat, it seems to have retained its R value, and I didn't really feel any cold at all coming up out of the ground. You know, it works for now, at least until I can get another one. From the campground in South Georgia, I got back on the interstate and headed towards a beautiful outlaw spot in St. Augustine, which I'd been using for years. This is exactly the location of my old spot. Basically, this is a place that I had stayed at every year, once a year for several years. Now it is no more. Anyway, that's the way it goes. I'm gonna keep riding around a little bit and see if I find something else, and maybe that'll be the next good spot. When hunting for these kind of outlaw camping spots, it's absolutely essential to do everything in your power to avoid being seen going in and out. All right, this is about a half a mile away from my other spot, which is no more. And this spot would probably work. I mean, it's a little overgrown. This is just some nasty property for sale. The only problem with it is it's so soft and mushy. Would be a little bit of a fixer-upper to kind of get a flat enough spot. There's not really an easy way in and out of here, but the ground is just soft and mushy, nasty. There's my bike over there. I guess I could get in through here. It's not bad right there. You want to have some trees above you generally. just to sort of keep the dew off everything and kind of keep a lower profile. Getting close to the road right here, walking this way, so I'm not crazy about it. I could, in a pinch, make something out here work. And in fact, I cleaned up a little bit of a spot back in there, just in case. But I think I'm just gonna keep riding south, probably down to Palm Coast. I know I've got a spot out there, and then I've got another spot that might be something a little bit better. But still got plenty of daylight left, so I'm gonna keep riding. All right, guess what's for dinner? I'll give you one guess. It's rotisserie chicken, same as yesterday, and water, and free horseradish and Texas Pete sauce from the deli. Yeah, this is pretty much daily life. I find a grocery store. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, I find a bench like that to sit down. A lot of the times I don't have a bench, so I just kind of sit down next to the curb, eating and saying hi to the people that pass by. It sounds totally crazy, but I kind of live the life of a homeless guy for most of the year. And then, you know, for about 3.5 months out of the year, I get to take off to exotic places like Southeast Asia or wherever. Yeah, so I'm gonna sit down here and eat my rotisserie chicken. I was gonna go to one of my spots, but it looks like there's an accident, so I'm just gonna sit here and eat and let them clean it up and then start heading that way. I'd located this great spot behind an abandoned house the previous year. I'd marked it on my map, but never had a chance to use it. After parking my bike out of sight, I hiked back in the woods to refresh my memory and get the lay of the land. Slightly sketchy spot because it's pretty near this abandoned house over there, which has like a lawn, which is obviously maintained. I don't know if maybe the state goes in there and cuts the grass, but it's absolutely a piece of crap, falling apart. But it's not really a spot that I would want to like hang out in for a long period of time. It's more just kind of a place to set up and spend the night kind of a thing. So I'm absolutely exhausted. It's been absolutely freezing today. Just had this icy wind just finding its way even through the 2 sets of gloves that I've been using, and it's just been absolutely miserable. So hopefully the temperature is going to warm up a little bit tomorrow, and I can finally be relatively comfortable. I woke up early this morning. There's a campground about a half a mile away. I'm gonna try to sneak in there and get a shower. All right, that was one of the most miserable showers of all time. Absolutely no hot water. As you've seen, I've been freezing my nuts off for the better part of the last week getting down here. Haven't had a hot shower, no hot water, so I think I'm gonna ask for my money back. So I'm gonna go ahead and get packed up and head towards Ormond and see what's going on down there. And yeah, it's been interesting, man. Freezing cold for most of it. Absolutely miserable. Interestingly enough, there's some kind of a feral cat or something out here that left a dead gecko right at the entrance of my tent. I guess that's kind of a nice gesture. Maybe he's confusing me with some other homeless person who might have fed him at some point. But nevertheless, I woke up, I'm like, it's a dead gecko out here. And I heard something kind of stealthily sort of sneaking around late last night. So I'm one gecko up. Right as I was packing up, I saw an enormous bobcat bounding across a nearby clearing at a breakneck pace. I can only assume it was he who was responsible for the dead lizard at my doorstep. All told, the trip had taken around 4 days, about 1,000,000 times faster than my usual snail's pace. I pulled into the destination Daytona lot and prepared myself for a long 2 weeks. So as always, if you enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as usual, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box for anybody that might like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road.